My name's Chris. I'm up in Manchester. I'm really grateful to be joined by Colin Hayden today, who's the lead Unite rep at Go North West Queens Road Bus Depot. As I'm sure many people are aware, they've finally won their epic battle against fire and rehire after more than 80 days of continuous strike, which is the longest in Unite's history. So Colin, thanks a lot for coming on today and congratulations on the victory. I was just wondering if you could give us a little bit about the history of the dispute, what it was around and how long it lasted, that kind of thing.
Well, to go back to give the full history, we have to go back all the way to March last year, where the company made a set of proposals, changes to our terms and conditions, and it was vast, it was mass. Every term and condition was included in there. You know, the difficult part for us was the driving staff, who effectively were just 2 days, 48 hours away from being furloughed, roughly 60 to 70% of the staff. So it left us in a very vulnerable position where we couldn't communicate with our members. Our reaction to try and get up and using Zoom and stuff like that was a lot slower than what the company had going there. IT systems and that were far better than ours. So it led to a bit of a power struggle. With me being the only rep left in the depot at the time, it just wasn't something I was in a position to do. I can't go and collectively bargain on behalf of the members without actually having to speak to them and engage with them. So that went on for a fair few months, back and forward, to and fro. And then ultimately on the 7th of August, the regional secretary, Richie James, had a meeting in the depot with the local management team and hammered it out with them. And they were looking for some profitability because the depot was losing on their quotes £1.8 million. So Richie said what we would do is set up a working party to look at see if there was any efficiency savings that we could look at in the scheduling and have a look at the sick pay, although we believe the sick pay was bad management policy, not the actual payment rates. So that was put to the company, as I said, on the 7th of August. On the 12th of August, I was then suspended. 2 days later, they issued a Section 188 fire and rehire. So from the 14th of August, when it was issued, all the way through to the 24th of September, on that day, the Thursday, 24th of September, I was reinstated back into employment and the talks then commenced. Obviously, Unite deployed its leverage team to get pressure on the company to pause fire and rehire and obviously make sure that I was back reinstated and they work again. Between September and December, we met with the company numerous times, different locations around the region, and it's culminated on the 12th of December where we put a package of efficiency savings on the table, which we believe would have created roughly about £1 million to £1.3 million worth of savings. We had to put a bit of a variant in there just in case our calculations weren't as spot on as what we thought. So that was submitted just prior to Christmas. And then on the 13th, I think it was, of January, Saturday the 13th, I get a bit muddled with the dates. It's been a busy time. The company then withdrew from the collective consultation. And what they did was 2 days later, they started to drag our members into one-to-one consultations. They were denied union representation and they were told they had 7 days to sign the contract, otherwise they'd be fired. Now that's pandemonium in the garage, as you can imagine, not just the threat of getting sacked, but also the threat of taking your rosters away from you because they were doing it on a fair, whoever signs up quicker gets it, they choose the rosters. So it took us a bit of a time just to get mobilised on that. We initiated industrial action Barrett straight away to Barrett the members. It then come out that the company were giving everyone, after the first week, they said everyone, if they haven't signed by the 9th of February, you would be fired and rehired. So funnily enough, that was the same day we got the Barrett result. So on the 9th of February, 2 members of the management team attended my home address in a car and posted through a contract of employment that said that I'd now been terminated and re-engaged on different terms and conditions. We met with the memberships over the Barrett, and because of the aggression of the company, we saw only one way of tackling this, and that was to go on indefinite strike action, to go out and stay out until we get a deal. So as you know, that led into the 11th week, well, maybe the 9th week, 10th week, where a meeting took place in London. Unite deployed its leverage team again to get the company back round the table. What that initiated was a meeting between Len McCloskey and the CEO, David Brown, down in London. And the principles of a deal were sought down there and brought back for our consideration. When the deal came back from London, there was still a lot of the small print that we as reps wanted to understand. So we took our time with it. We're not going to be rushed on this. We had to look at it, detail it, and go for it because it's vast documents, lots of wordy documents. So it took us a bit of time to do it. I know everybody was getting frustrated around the fact that it looked as if the deal was done in London, but at the end of the day, it had to come back to the members. It had to be ratified by us, the branch committee, and then taken to the members. So that happened on Monday, and the members voted unanimously to accept the deal. So today's our first day back in work. It's a bit strange being back here. The place looks different. Everyone looks different. It's funny seeing people in a shirt and tie now, you know. Everybody's been there. But massive, massive gains out of this. Not just on the deal itself, but for the movement. The support that we've had from locally, from the Northwest, with the People's Assembly, Manchester TUC, Extinction Rebellion, you name it, every trades council around the country has either been up at the depot, joining the march and doing whatever. The community activists have been out in force. We then, with the help of the leverage, we managed to put pressure on the company over in Sweden where they were going for contracts. We had the International Transport Federation, the ITF, putting pressure over all around the world. We had the ETF putting pressure over on Germany. And it was really humbling for such one little bus garage to get so much support from all different corners of the world, but all different corners of our movement. So I think there's lessons to be learned on a lot of it, but what we have to do is really start building from the ground up again. We need to start with a blank piece of paper. These employers might try and do it again, and they'll go ahead, they'll give a commitment that they'll never use fire and rehire again. So that's a bit of a comfort for the rest of the comrades working for the Go Ahead group around the world and also in the UK. So I think we just need to rebuild. We need to rebuild the branches in the workplace. Start getting people sign up to be a union member and they then forget about it until they've got a discipline or until they've been off for a sickness absence review. We need to start building more activists in the workplace. We need to start connecting them outside of the workplace with the likes of the People's Assembly, the Manchester Momentum, the TUCs and whatnot. And we need to build them combines all around in different sectors, getting everybody communicating and talking so that when something does happen, you don't just have to rely on your own trade union. The industrial action and whether your union does leverage and whatnot will automatically kick in. But what we found was the added support was really, really beneficial to us. And I don't think if we wouldn't have had all elements of that, I don't think we'd have got the result that we got.
Yes, Colin. And just another quick question on fire and rehire. So, I mean, obviously it's kind of tearing through workers. TUC said 1 in 10 workers had been fired and rehired since the pandemic. What do you think, putting that in the context of the impact of other workers in the rest of the country, what do you think you've shown by defeating it here in Manchester?
I mean, I don't know. I'd never want to criticise anyone for the action that they take against fire and rehire. First of all, we've obviously got the politicians. We need our Labour politicians to keep putting the pressure on. We need the people of this country to put pressure on the Tories to get it outwards. The difficult part with that is each dispute has its own elements to it. But what I would say to anyone is don't go out, use as bigger, hit back just as hard as they're hitting you. And if that means you have to go out for the long, sustained industrial action, then please speak to your membership and consider it, because these companies, you sit back for a day or two, we're not really hitting them. We need to get that killer blow. Now, don't get me wrong, it took 11 weeks for us, Chris. You know, 10 weeks or so before the deal came. So we were hurting them. It was hurting them around, but we just couldn't land that killer blow. So I think when all the elements came together, when the leverage came in, the industrial action was solid, the members there they weren't dwindling, and then all the local community support, all the stuff, the rallies, the marches, the petitions on the lobbying the politicians, when it all came together, and the week, I'd say the weeks between 7 and 9, 7 and 10, that's when we knew we had the killer punch in us and we just had to land it. So it's about just working. Don't give in. Do not give in to fire and rehire. Don't give in.
Nice one, Colin. Thanks a lot for your time. And yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it's been brilliant to see kind of all the activists and all the left in the area rally around this really important cause. And it's great to hear, you know, what positive impacts all that solidarity played in kind of boosting the morale of the workers there. So see you really busy. Thank you so much for speaking to us, and congratulations once again.
All right. Thanks very much, Chris. I'll see you soon, mate.
Nice one. Cheers, pal. See ya.